What is up, everybody? Glad to be back with you today. I saw this post here from JASMY AI, and I gotta say, it piqued my interest. So this is the topic of today's video. This is the brand new announcement that was just announced on December 11th, 2 days ago, that Saudi Aramco has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with SBI Holdings. Okay. Now, if you follow JASMY, this is really interesting because of some past partnership/ties. And I want to get into that in this video and kind of just talk about where this could go, right? I mean, it's very, very interesting. So first of all, let me go over here to Yahoo Finance. This is basically the article, right? Japan's SBI Holdings signs a memorandum of understanding with Saudi Aramco exploring digital assets investments, right? So they're going to explore a collaboration in digital assets and consider co-investing in their respective digital asset portfolios. That's very interesting, right? They may also identify Japanese digital asset startups interesting in expanding to Saudi Arabia and initiate semiconductor production projects in both countries. Okay, so this is like just a really big deal. Now, outside of the JASMY ties, it's also worth noting that Ripple's largest external shareholder is SBI Holdings, so Ripple, aka XRP, right? So where the implications here are is with any Japanese companies that are kind of fit the bill here, as well as somebody like a Ripple and XRP, there could be a huge opportunity here. And why wouldn't there be, right? They just won their lawsuit, right? And really, I think what this is saying is that Aramco is looking to invest and is always looking for opportunities. Now, if you're not familiar with Aramco, they have been making some waves recently in the sports world with the Live Golf. Okay. So this is their alternate sports league to the PGA Tour, which was kind of the main league. And what they've basically done is just throw like the biggest boatload of money possible at numerous PGA Tour players and said, hey, if you come over here, you're going to make way more than you've ever made in your whole career, right? And that's exactly what they've done. Okay, and so what's interesting in terms of the PGA Tour and Live Golf is even though Live Golf is the newcomer, they are the Goliath, all right? At one point in time, there was a lawsuit that was going on from the PGA Tour to Live Golf, and PGA Tour basically had somewhere around $1 billion in reserves for this lawsuit, right? Well, I want to say at the time, and I could be getting this slightly off, but I think I'm right, is that Live Golf had something like $600 billion in the bank. So it's like a 600-to-1 ratio, right? And so the point is that the PGA Tour, being this long-standing apparatus for golf, realized they can't fight them. And so what do you do if you can't beat them? Join them, right? And ever since, they've been trying to work out a framework. And just recently, I want to say it was like the most recent champion of the Masters just went to Live Golf, right? So they still have to work out their framework by the end of the year. But the point is that Aramco can be a massive disruptor in any space it gets into. All right. Now, I got a few different tabs here. I'm going to kind of click through them all and kind of tell you what they all mean. All right. So here we go. So this one here, this is another one here, another article, and this is by Cryptopolitan, right? So SBI and Saudi Aramco form a digital asset alliance. So in this one, I want to kind of read some of this because it goes into maybe a little bit more detail kind of on the blockchain side, and a credit here to the author, Jai Hamid, all right? So forging new pathways, digital asset industry, right? As I mentioned before, the partnership encompasses three primary areas: collaboration and joint investment in digital assets. That's a big one, right? That's what I'm talking about with the whole crypto space. support for Japanese startups, and then the semiconductors, right? Now, it says here in the digital asset domain, the partnership plans to mutually invest in each other's substantial portfolios, right? Each other's substantial portfolios. This move signifies a deep dive into the burgeoning field of digital assets, indicating a significant shift in strategic focus for both entities, right? And SBI has been trending this way for a while now, right? Now, it says SBI Holdings, with a strong presence in the Middle East and an established $100 million joint fund with the Standard Chartered out of Dubai, is set to establish SBI Middle East in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, right? So the alliance also aims to identify and support Japanese startups for digital assets that seek to expand beyond cryptocurrency. So this is interesting too. While cryptocurrency might be the buzzword, SBI and Aramco's focus seems to be leaning more towards tokenization. Now, this is interesting. Tokenization, a process where real-world assets are converted into digital tokens on a blockchain, offers a realm of possibilities. And it says SBI's establishment of the Osaka Digital Exchange, set to commence trading of tokenized securities, hints at a potential scope of this partnership. Now, I read that and I instantly started to think about the NCCC, the National Carbon Credit Consortium, that JASMY is also a part of. And you'll see the different ties to carbon, which also kind of ties back to Aramco being an oil company. Okay. Now, a little bit more. So Saudi Aramco's involvement in blockchain, evidenced by investments in solutions such as VAKT, Data Gumbo, and TradeGo, aligns with partnership's focus. The collaboration could explore areas such as tokenized oil contracts, harnessing blockchain for operational efficiencies, that's the Carbon Credit Consortium, right? And supply chain solutions. You know, supply chain solutions, I think, is something like a V-chain, right? Again, and JASMY could do this too. JASMY's been talking about NFTs for a long time. We're going to talk a little more about that, right? So overall, it's a statement of intent, right? So they explore the world of tokenization and Web3 rewards, and SBI continues to expand its digital asset portfolio, essentially by getting into the Middle East, right? Even further. And so SBI is a global holding company behemoth investor, right? And so what do they each bring to the table, right? So on the one hand, you got SBI. On the other hand, you've got Aramco. Aramco basically brings wealth at a scale of Walmart. I want to say there was only one, or it was either Walmart or maybe one other company is ahead of them in total value worldwide. Okay. So wealth at a scale essentially of Walmart. They're a $2 trillion company is Aramco. And what SBI has is they are a holding company, a significant investor, a VC company. They own access. This is the big thing that they bring to the table, is access to the Japanese Web3 market. Okay. So huge partnership, huge. And I mean, where it could go is just crazy, right? I mean, it really is. So next. So right here, this is the website, and I'm not sure where I went here on the left, but this is the website here for Aramco Ventures, right? So the Digital Industrial Fund, a $500 million fund focused on digital and industrial technologies that can add value to Aramco's operations. That's interesting. Let's find out more about that, right? So about the fund, we focus primarily on digital solutions that can provide operational benefit in terms of cost savings, capital efficiency, safety, workforce and human capital development, or competitive advantage. We also selective invest in disruptive technologies, right? Remember, Aramco is naturally a disruptor. Hardware solutions, as well as technologies which could allow for alternative uses of hydrocarbon-based materials, right? Now, this, again, that ties back to that National Carbon Credit Consortium that JASMY is doing right now in Japan. I think Aramco would be interested in an idea like that, right? Now, focus areas. So sectors of interest include AI and analytics, right? We definitely have that one. There's a couple in here that we don't necessarily have, but three of the big ones we do. So AI and analytics, we've got blockchain, and we've got cybersecurity. We also potentially have robotics and automation, right? Some of the other ones, enterprise software, we've got that one too if you think about secure PC. And then they've also got additive manufacturing, industrial, and upstream, okay? 500 million. Those three companies that they had invested in already, so Data Gumbo, TradeGo, and VAKT. So what even are these, right? I haven't even heard of these. Blockchain smart contracting solutions, Asia-focused blockchain trading platform, and a blockchain-enabled solution for oil and gas products trading. Very, very interesting, all right? Now, moving forward here, I wanted to go to this BitPoint Japan web link here, I'm sorry, on SBI Holdings site. So the point of this is that BitPoint Japan essentially is a crypto asset exchange that, who are the shareholders, right? SBI Group, 100%. So SBI Group owns BitPoint Japan. When was BitPoint Japan founded? March 3rd, 2016, right? Now, why I find that interesting is I was looking on Google here, and JASMY was founded April 2016 in Tokyo. So less than 1 month later, JASMY was founded. And originally, SBI is an offshoot of SoftBank. And who worked at SoftBank? But none other than the MY of JASMY, Masanobu Yoshida. Okay? So an interesting little tie there. Now, moving forward again, all right? Now, I wanted to find this because, I knew this was in there. This was announced in 2022, for anybody who remembers this or hasn't seen this. There was a partnership that JASMY did with BitPoint with Big Boss here, right? So he is this first Japan-born player to play in the U.S. World Series. And by the way, I got this image from Reddit. So whoever put this together, thank you. This is great. Easily simplifies it, right? He is the manager of the Ham Fighters of Japan, okay? And his first legally, his contract was going to be paid by the first legally compliant Japanese crypto coin, JASMY. This is how he was getting paid over at the Ham Fighters. He is being paid in JASMY. Now, why would he be paid in JASMY and not something else, right? This is where you got to start to think about the ties between BitPoint and SBI Holdings and those ties back to JASMY. Now, the really interesting thing here is that SBI Holdings, I had seen another link on here where it showed one of their largest shareholders was the Sumitomo Mitsui Corporation, right? And this is SMBC essentially is JASMY's largest banking partner from day one, and that's who that is, okay? So their largest banking partner is the largest shareholder of SBI Holdings. Now, if you go all the way back to the time that Ando was the chairman at Sony, and I have looked this up before, I know I've done this, I've showed it in previous videos, on his board that he oversaw when he was chairman were always, every single time, multiple representatives from SMBC, right? So their bank at Sony ties back to Ando, ties back to SBI Holdings, ties back to BitPoint, ties back to this announcement here of Tsuyoshi Shinjo being paid with JASMY for his big contract. The Ham Fighters were also the team at the Hokkaido ballpark that is a testing ground for the entry-exit system, right? So this was the announcement way back when it happened here. Um, BitPoint Japan will appoint Tsuyoshi Shinjo, the second Japanese-born player, is the new manager of the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters as a brand ambassador for its cryptocurrency exchange, BitPoint. Part of the contract money will be paid in JASMY, right? Really, really interesting. Here was the post originally on the entry-exit system. Co-developed by JASMY and WITS, made a splash here at Chiniki Dragons baseball field, right? And it talks about the Ham Fighters in that as well, okay? And just so you know what I'm referring to here when I say the entry-exit system. So key advantages of this system were that fans could easily enter-exit the stadium by scanning a QR code. Personal information registered by fans will be saved to the PDL. That's the big thing, right? The operator can regulate, control the number of fans and the time of admission through the system so that both the operator and the fans can feel at ease during the game. During the epidemic, the system can use filtered personal data to detect whether there are cases of infection, status of vaccination, right? Had a lot to do with COVID in particular. Now, coming back to current time today. So the JASMY press release, this was 1 day ago with Neopin, okay? Now, what is Neopin? So global CeFi DeFi protocol, Neopin, headquartered in Singapore, but I think it's actually, it's like a Korean tie is what this is. A strategic business agreement, MoU, right? There's that exact same terminology, the Memorandum of Understanding with JASMY, a venture company from ex-Sony executives in Japan to promote the Internet of Things, right? And I want to say, where is it? It's somewhere down here. Real-world asset security token offering related to JASMY data assetization. So through this Memorandum of Understanding, two companies will develop joint businesses such as real-world asset and security token offering related to the JASMY data assetization. Okay. So they start talking about in here, I think, I don't know if it was this one or if it's the next one. They talk about this in terms of, oh yeah, here we go, NFTs, right? And it says right here, it has announced a series of partnerships with SBI NFT, a subsidiary of SBI Holdings, right? So this was just the other day, this Neopin partnership. Very interesting. And they're talking about NFT, right? NFT FI, non-fungible token finance service. Now, moving forward here a little bit more, let's see here. We talked about the partnership, digital asset tech innovation. Saudi Aramco is one of the largest integrated energy and chemical companies. It's basically the number one oil company in the world. Here was the actual Neopin posting, partners with JASMY regarding data assetization, right? So again, this is referring back to that, to the JASMY chain. Launch DeFi products. Basically, so through the newly formed Memorandum of Understanding, they're set to, and here's what we are going to do, right? As I mentioned already, pioneer real-world asset and security token offering, businesses jointly launch DeFi products with Neopin virtual assets. Activate JASMY's new mainnet business through Neopin's participation as a node validator, and actively promote mutual networking for global ecosystem expansion in Japan, Korea, the Middle East, and beyond. So again, there's another tie right there, the Middle East, Japan, right? And that kind of ties back into this huge announcement that we just had here, right? So in terms of Aramco, as I said earlier, market capitalization, $2.133 trillion, makes Aramco the third most valuable company in the world by market cap. The amount of money this company makes is just staggering, right? A record net income of $161 billion. This was last year. You know, just absolutely insane. And it is a state-owned oil producer. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was how does all this uh, come together with the cryptocurrency laws in Saudi Arabia? And the thing here is regarding the cryptocurrency laws in Saudi Arabia that it is illegal for the banks to deal with cryptocurrency, right? So they say the banks cannot deal in cryptocurrency because it's high risk. However, when it comes to individuals or companies, they're kind of in a gray area where they are allowed to participate in the cryptocurrency market. And what this tells me is that Aramco, if we go back to the digital industrial fund here, the $500 million fund, that's exactly where this stuff fits. And I've seen in one of the articles I was looking at, they were talking about Web3, that they're highly interested in Web3, obviously AI, blockchain, cybersecurity, enterprise software. These are all the things that JASMY has. And so what SBI Holdings offers is access to Japan's Bitcoin to Aramco. Now, if JASMY can prove the value of the National Carbon Credit Consortium, couldn't we do the same thing with Aramco? Absolutely, right? We could use it over there in the Middle East. Same thing with Secure PC. Same thing with the personal data locker. If they could prove that they could use that in place of Suica in Japan, this could go a long way in the transportation field, for example, in the Middle East. It's also worth noting that JASMY and the PDL is a disruptor and Aramco is a disruptor. So this is one of these partnerships that's kind of like the stars are aligning. And truthfully, I don't know if there could be a bigger global partner, a bigger fish to land than Aramco, especially like in the example I gave earlier with Live Golf. We've seen what they've done to golf. Completely changed it, and they did it immediately. They did it fast. Could the same thing happen in crypto where they just flip the script here and all of a sudden Japan starts to reap some serious rewards? Absolutely. I would be looking at ASTAR. I would be looking at JASMY. I would be looking at XRP. All three of these have huge potential here with this. Even some other ones like Energy Web Token, that could possibly have some benefits there. Where it goes from here to be seen, but what is important is that the government of Japan is promoting Web3, IoT, everything that JASMY is doing, the government is in support of. And now you've got the largest player, essentially, the largest oil company in the world in a potential partnership here. I mean, it can't be understated enough. And the other interesting thing, too, is that, I said about the laws, even though it's illegal for the banks to deal in cryptocurrency, this is a state-backed oil company. So this is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is controlling it, right? They can invest in whatever they want. So they tell the banks, you're not allowed to, but we are. And that's kind of what they're doing, right? So where it goes from here, I have no idea. I think it was worth making a quick video. Sorry, my video went out here on the left. I don't know why that happened, but disruptive partnership with a company with some of the deepest pockets out of the entire planet. Could there be some rewards being sprinkled throughout the Japanese players in this space? Absolutely. And so I think what my point is in this video, it reminds me of a saying that my dad used to tell me, which was something about how basically when the brass ring comes around, you need to grab it, right? And I'll leave it at that. That hopefully JASMY, Hara can sort of grab a hold of this brass ring and see where it takes them, because it's things like this that kind of propel this project into the stratosphere from sort of a modest beginning, missteps along the way, learning as we go, and then a wild card comes out of nowhere like this. Where we go from here, TBD. But that's it for today's video. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.